Welcome into More Important Issues. It is Monday, August 17th. Football is back. It feels good, man. Twitter was buzzing today. You could smell it in the air. You can feel football in the air.
Yeah, we're playing. 40
Pads,
days away, we're playing.
high school football pads are popping, but we'll say Tennessee's are. You could feel it.
Yeah, something was popping.
Yep. It's
The orange pants were popping on the practice field. I'll say that.
were they wearing orange pants today?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good to see. I mean that's a way to start right there.
Yeah.
I feel good now. I feel real good.
Get the
They
excitement going.
exactly at 3 p.m. They kind of got you a little gave you a little preview of tonight by releasing the first week opponents. When they did that, well, you know what? We're gonna get in the schedule. First, let's talk about good news. Jeremy Banks is back on the field.
He's back. It's good to see 33 back at linebacker.
Yeah.
I just think he was a leader. You saw the leadership qualities his freshman year. I just think that's huge to have him back in a Tennessee uniform. I mean, I don't think he would be back on campus if he didn't bring something to Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's why Jeremy Pruitt is adamant of letting him back, give him a chance, just like he gave Juwan Jennings a chance to earn his spot back. And even if Jeremy Banks isn't ready physically, I think having another leader is good, and having added depth at that linebacker position is going to be huge.
Yeah, the depth is definitely going to be a nice thing. I mean, obviously, when you bring a player back, there's a little bit of concern, but Jeremy Pruitt has not given us a reason not to trust him. And till then, we'll do it. Adding the depth at linebacker is good. I said that on Sunday's show. Said I'll be interested to see kind of what that linebacking group looks like. It may have just gotten a little bit different.
Yeah, or he could be the goal line back.
He could be. I know you like him there. I think if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Quarius Crouch seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I just feel like if Crouch is your start at linebacker and you don't want to put him on offense as well, I understand.
Banks may be a short down guy, a short yardage down guy because you're not going to want Crouch running the ball more than 4 times a game. So it may be a different package than Crouch. That not as important. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to find a way to get him on the field. The one thing Pruitt does and his staff does, and I think it's a great philosophy. If you're a good football player, if you're a good athlete, we're going to find a way to get you on the field.
Absolutely. Yep. Got to. I mean, it wasn't Jeremy Pruitt saying, Jeremy Banks is one of our best players last year. So if he really is one of your best players, got to find a way to put him on the field somehow.
Oh, absolutely. And they'll definitely try and do that. Guys who may not be on the field though, and man, it's really upsetting. And I hope the appeal is looked at. Hopefully they really go back and review it. But you got the news today that Cade Mays is not currently eligible. 2 things I want to talk about. Number one, how does he not get eligible? I don't want to stay on that subject too long because I think everybody knows the facts that are with it. But number 2, just play him, right? What's the NCAA got over the season? Half of their teams aren't playing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. Every time I think I figure out what the NCAA is going to do, they just do something like this. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I just don't see how a quarterback from USC is able to go to Georgia without any hiccups whatsoever, and then Cade Mays moves home and it's not a slam dunk. I just don't understand what. I would love to know what the reasoning behind it is, because I'm sure it's not a good one.
Yeah, like you said, I don't understand. A lot of people are like, well, he had a starting position at Georgia. I feel like the cop-out would be to leave because you're not starting like Justin Fields or JT Daniels. A guy that's starting and wants to leave, you got to assume there's more there than just leaving to seek better opportunities necessarily. I saw your tweet. You talked about his brother plays at UT now. His dad's a VFL. His coach left. We can bring up the lawsuit. Whether you believe it's for him transferring or not, it is a lawsuit. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
That I'm not going to sit here and dispute the facts because, frankly, we just don't know all of them, and I'm not going to pretend to. And then one thing I said is because UT waited to file the waiver, and I said this compliance office has typically done a really good job. There's no reason to question them. I hope we don't have reason to question them after the Cade Mays thing.
Yeah, because this seems like a slam dunk, and maybe it's just the NCAA mad that half of the conferences aren't playing football and half of them are. I just don't know. I just feel like if you're moving toward a one-time transfer, this is an easy decision. So
Right.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, and a bunch of people weighed in. You've had a ton of Vol football players tweet today about Cade Mays getting eligible. Most notably, Trey Smith. He fired off a series of tweets with hashtag free Cade Mays. The first one, my brother Cade Mays has put in way too much work to simply be denied. At the end of the day, this isn't right. Do the right thing, and even added the NCAA. See if that gets their attention. And Jay Billis weighed in. He said, "Good grief! With all we're going through, Cade Mays has his transfer waiver denied. The NCAA has a chance to right this wrong on appeal and should. Mays didn't have a choice but to leave Georgia, and the NCAA knows it. Too bad Mays isn't a QB. He'd be eligible immediately."
Yeah, that's the fact. I mean, he even tweeted at Garantano. He's like, "Hey, can you let me borrow 2 this season?" I mean,
Garantano came back.
yeah. That's so sad that that's the way it is, but that would be true. He would be eligible if he was a quarterback, 100%.
Yep. It's I don't understand the process. You mentioned how they're moving to a one-time NCAA, one-time waiver. We don't know why it got pushed back. Why it was not going. It's not going to be voted on until January now, and it's not really clear why. Seems like you would just make the easy decision here and move forward with it. I don't know. I don't know what happens here. I don't know. How Cade Mays ended up on somebody's shit list. Somebody had a bad Monday, man. Somebody had a bad Monday and took it out on Cade Mays.
I guess so, and I'm kind of with Jay Billis with everything going on, and you're worried about player safety, and you're talking like you're about the players, and you do something like this, a guy that's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, and you don't want him to see his last year of college football. That's kind of sad.
It also doesn't make sense. He doesn't need the NCAA. Like, he could go to the draft right now,
right?
Or he could go to the NFL right now. He's going to be taken in the draft as it stands today. Mm-hmm. You think you would want your best players playing.
Yeah. Just don't get it.
It's weird. Strange. Very strange, but we're still looking forward to a good college football season. And like I said today, the SEC released at 3 p.m. on the Paul Feinbaum Show, released week 1, which them releasing that one early, I thought it was going to be pretty climactic and thought it was going to be a good week 1. Thought the SEC, had a chance to make week 1 exciting. It's not. Week 1 is not an exciting week in college football. Everyone dreads week 1, and everyone dreads that week in November where they play cupcake games. And they made week 1 just as bad as there's maybe 2 intriguing matchups. Good news is Tennessee's one of them, but I'd rather see Tennessee play Florida. I realize we have a better chance against South Carolina than Florida, but Florida's the more exciting matchup.
Yeah, I just think if you're wanting to like every story, if it doesn't have a hook, people aren't going to tune into it. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to have a hook because you're playing all conference games, and it seems like they just protected the better teams.
They did. Oh, they did, absolutely. The 2 most exciting matchups and probably the only intriguing matchups are Tennessee at South Carolina and Kentucky versus Auburn. I don't have that who's home and away. I believe it's at Auburn. But those are the most intriguing matchups, and if you ask any SEC fan if that's a game they would tune into just to watch, most are going to say no about both of those games.
Right. Yeah, that's not one that you're like you're clicking on the ESPN app to get updates on. That's not none of those matchups, even the Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee, South Carolina. If you're not fans of those teams, you don't really care.
No. It's I guess the good news is Tennessee at least got an interesting matchup. Not only obviously it's going to be important to your season. It's a 10-game conference-only schedule, but it could also affect how you fall in the East very early on. So at least – and it's a good matchup. I think Tennessee's should be favored in it, and Tennessee's going to look to kind of build off that 20-point victory last year. I like Tennessee in this game. I like this as our first game if you don't get a Vanderbilt or Arkansas. I feel like you probably got a better draw. You're not playing A&M or Auburn week 1, which is nice.
Yeah, and you got over the Muschamp curse last year, and I don't think they really get any better. I just don't see it.
How?
Yeah, I really don't see it. So I think this is a good matchup, and I think, South Carolina, they might just be like, if they think Muschamp's out the door, they might even be worse than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely that's the good news too. Is you're not going to play an interim coach like a team that plays South Carolina in November may be playing and may find some new life. So
right.
that is the good news about how early you play them.
What about that? The hound in the henhouse tweet. I brought that up today. I mean,
I didn't see that. My bad. I missed it.
Yeah, just bring it back. Hound in the hen house. That was one of my
Absolutely.
favorite tweets of last season
Oh
from the
yes,
Vol
yeah,
football account.
the UT tweet. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's do it again. 41-21 was the last time we beat them.
And I love how South Carolina fans are. I get saying Tennessee isn't a great program right now, but you also lost by 20 last year. Sit down and calm down. You shouldn't be excited about this game necessarily.
And weren't you like 2-2 versus Butch Jones?
They were 2-2, but they'll for some reason they robbed the Muschamp being 4-0, 5-0 against them, whatever it was. Yeah, I'm like, you lost to Butch Jones a lot. Unacceptable.
And didn't Vandy have the same record versus Tennessee in that time? Then
Vanderbilt would have had a better record. Butch Jones only beat them once.
That's terrible. Okay, I'm depressed now.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad fact for South Carolina. But Tennessee's schedule, I like it. Other than you could have played Alabama and Tennessee, you could have ensured that that rivalry was the third Saturday in October, and you didn't. Whatever. I mean, I just feel like you could have made the schedule at least your own, and you didn't.
Yeah, I feel like you could do some of the normal things, like having the Iron Bowl the last game of the season. They didn't do that either.
I did.
It is on Thanksgiving weekend, which it usually is, but
so I understand that apparently that's how, of course, Alabama and Auburn got their way. That they wanted to keep it Thanksgiving weekend. So that does make sense. But yeah, I don't know how they'd prefer that. But I like the schedule as a whole. I think it lays out nicely. Obviously, you prefer the bye week to be before a better opponent. You have it before Arkansas right now on November 7th, but it's not the end of the world. It's you do get to rest after Alabama.
Yeah, that's my thing. If it's not going to be before a good team, let it be after a good team like Alabama, where you're probably going to be beat up. You can rest up and look forward to basically another bye week in Arkansas.
Exactly. And the good news too about the schedule, you don't have a gauntlet. Your toughest stretch is probably Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama. If you look at Tennessee's last 10 years, if you're talking about your toughest stretch being Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama, I don't care how good Kentucky is. I buy that every single day of the week.
We'll take that. And maybe Texas A&M and Auburn. Maybe that's a stretch. But I mean, we do that year in and year out, where we have to play Florida, Georgia, and Alabama and teams like that. So,
and those two games are capped by Arkansas and Vanderbilt too.
Right. Yep. It's definitely a favorable schedule. I mean, I don't know how many games. I mean, 6-4 is probably like a safe bet.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm sure I'm going to be talking myself into 8-2, especially if we roll into Alabama 4-1.
You'll feel good about it.
I mean, wasn't the last time we were 4-1 playing Alabama? It was right after Texas A&M, right? It was 2016.
We would have been 4-1. Yeah, 4-1. You're right. Yeah. Well, we know how that season ended. Why'd you have to bring that up?
Right, but I mean, it was an exciting matchup for that game, is what I'm trying to say.
It was. You're not wrong about that. And then the biggest news, I guess they gave us the consolation prize. If you can't play Florida opening night, you get to close out with Florida and Neyland in December. I guess that's as exciting as it could be if it's not going to be game one.
You remember the last time we played them in December, don't you?
Oh, I do, absolutely. Leading receiver in that game. Was that? No. Yeah, leading receiver that game was Bobby Graham, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, 2001?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to go watch it again. At Florida, right?
That was the Travis Stevens game, right?
Believe so. I'm gonna have to go look that up now. But yeah, I think it was in Florida, right? At Florida.
Yeah. So it was.
Okay.
Was it number 2 Florida, number 5 Tennessee, something like that?
Something like that. And the winner of that was still in Tennessee, and Florida pretty much decided the East the whole time. And the winner of that went to the SEC championship game.
Yep. So yeah, number 5 Tennessee beat number 2 Florida 34-32, December 1st, 2001.
And Bobby Graham was the leading receiver in that game. 7 receptions for 71 yards. Travis Stevens had 226 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
And I think we're undefeated in the swamp in December. And I think we're 4-1 all the time.
Iceman Casey Clausen rolling in there. You knew he was going to get the job done.
Yeah. He don't lose on the road.
No. It's never gonna happen. I like the. I mean, I'm still mad. I wanted to open with Florida. I thought it could have been a really exciting way to kick off. a pretty bleak year overall. I think it would have been fun. I don't know. I need to look around and see if they could have made some other week one matchups fun before. You didn't have to play Alabama and LSU week one. You didn't have to play Auburn and Alabama week one. You didn't have to play Auburn and Georgia week one. You could have made exciting matchups elsewhere. Whatever, pretty bleak week one, I guess. But the Tennessee game will be fun. It will be. I was supposed to go to Columbia this year, or I was talking about going to Columbia. I got invited to, but that won't be happening. So that's sad.
We were going to go to Georgia, weren't we?
And then we were going to go to Georgia, yeah. And then maybe we even had hopes and dreams of going to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to go down there if I can't go into the stadium. That just doesn't seem as fun.
I'm not. I think we talked about it on Sunday a little bit. I think our tailgating / watch party setup will be pretty fun. I look forward to it. You guys can come and join those anytime, obviously, and we're gonna talk about. We're gonna go more in depth with our schedule and the SEC schedule on Wednesday. So make sure you tune into that on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you watch your live videos, and then this will obviously be on the podcast as well. So make sure you find those too.
Yep, that's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.